Well, hello everybody. Hello. I guess you know what, to be honest, I didn't know I hit start until I walked outside the door, and then I looked in and then I realized, hey, I guess it's already started. So welcome everybody. Welcome to Bodies and Wicks. Yes, again, it is my channel and I can smoke on it if I want to. I know yesterday, I know it's a little late. I wanted to get this done a lot earlier. But man, I just can never get things done on time, especially when it comes to days that the market is about to come, the days that the market is coming back in, because I take too much time studying what I want to present and then not realizing that I'm probably not going to have much to present. Because I'm like, well, I wish I had the answers, but I don't. But I'll try to come up with the best answers that I can, and so that's what I'm here doing. So I'm gonna see if I can't come up with the best answers that I can. And I did want to focus on indices today. The SPX. I want to get to the Nasdaq, and I want to get to the Dow. Maybe the Dow. I'm not too concerned about the Dow. The Dow is just like it's the top 30 companies in the United States. It's like it's the best of the best. It's like even though it's like the biggest indice, it's not really the one that makes people the most money. But it's not really the one I personally care about because it's not the best to me, I guess you could say, if that makes any sense whatsoever. To me, the Nasdaq is the best because it's the tech sector. It really tells us what we're doing. I guess the S&P is also the good one in every sector. The Dow is just like, hey, how are the fat cats doing? Are they doing okay? Yeah, they're doing okay. All right, yeah, whatever. So that's why I really don't care about the Dow Jones. Plus, I want to throw a little bit in of course, we gotta throw in Bitcoin. We gotta see what Bitcoin's doing. We gotta see what Ethereum's doing, and I want to return to gold as well. What is going on? Take a look at the DXY and see what's going on from there. Actually, let's do that first. Let's start off. I was gonna start off with SPX. I want to start off with the DXY. And the reason I want to start with the DXY is because it's just because it could tell us what kind of week we're gonna have, right? So but I'm on the hour here. Let's get on the day. And as you can see back here, we're talking about back in our this is like 2018 area back here. And luckily we haven't gotten below all the way that. Luckily I'm surprised that we actually anything above where we're at now. I thought honestly falling, not really falling, but almost like we'd be struggling to get to where we could be as far as the dollar is, because printing money haven't been open as much as an economy as we have been. I mean, we have kind of been open as the economy, but not as much as what we should be, I don't believe. So I'm just wondering if there's something going on that we're not either prepared for or that we're not expecting, or something just really is just don't have answers. And I was on my my mentorship earlier today, he even said something about be prepared for something big, basic. They're either sorry guys, I'm trying to basically saying either prepare for something big, something big is going to happen. Some kind of volatility is going to enter the market. We don't know what the volatility is, but something's just not right. So they're manipulating the market a little bit too heavily. Hold on, I'm trying to. I meant to do this before I got online. I didn't realize I was online right now, so I'm trying to throw it to Twitter and Minds that I'm online right now. Give me a second. If you're not gonna follow me on Twitter, hey, how about this? Why don't we do this instead of you looking at me, looking at some kind of fake chart? Instead, what we'll do is we'll switch you over to me, actually tweeting out something to everybody, saying, hey, live talking indices and crypto. Probably, let's just throw in EXY. Why not? Let's Alright, so that way in Twitter land or Twitter world know. Not that there's a whole lot of people in Twitter world that know about me. I did actually have a pretty decent Twitter following until Twitter just dismantled my account. But no, I'm back 8. No, hold on, 14. So I'm gaining. I think my Minds is a lot smaller, but still, Minds is still a really cool place, especially if you know how to use it. I do like Minds. Minds is for you know, the nerds, people that are into crypto, people that, you know, because you get paid for being on Minds in crypto. Who knows who's gonna show up? If you're not on mine, please get on mine. I actually got a referral from somebody for that watched my video, and so that was great. Thank you guys. And yesterday I even posted it on Facebook, and nobody really even showed up because it was out. All right. So actually, before we get into the dollar, right? Let's actually take a look at what's going on with this week. All right. So let's do what can cause volatility and what can't. All right. So 4 p.m. we had some New Zealand news. I'm sure New Zealand. I don't know. That was about 4 or 5 hours ago. So tomorrow, what we got? FOMC stuff. Hey, didn't realize it, but it's not red folder-ish. Just a lot of speakers, so it depends on what kind of that they guess could depend on if we're gonna have some kind of volatility or not. I don't really know. Daily speaks, Corey speaks, Bowman speaks. I don't know why I have a speaker at 7:50 evening, but whatever. So it looks like most of the stuff is probably not going to be happening today. I don't think much is going to be happening during the 8 a.m. London open rush. Fairly flat still. Don't see anything happening. 23rd. All right, Tuesday. Let's see what we got going on Tuesday. A lot going on. Not a whole lot of red holders, but at least we do have some red stuff going on. What does that red stuff mean? Well, let me see here. Red stuff means not even red stuff, but just any kind of stuff. Here we've got so we got Fed Chair Powell testifies at 10 a.m. on the 23rd. So market calendar 23rd. I'm going to do right now. Today's Sunday. 23rd is a Tuesday. Right? So I'm gonna put good. That should bring in some kind of volatility into the market. This is what I've been learning to do, is to put things in my phone that when my phone goes off, it starts at 10 and this is 10, but what time zone is this? All right, so right now it is saying it is 11:24. I mean, 11:24. Is it 11:24 right now? 11:44. Okay. What I thought. What was going on here? All right, 11:44. So, which means that this thing is an hour ahead, which is fine. So Powell will be speaking at 9 o'clock my time. So I am going to set an alarm around March 23rd. And we're going to do around at 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock my time. Let's make sure, let's notified by 8 a.m. Okay. Go. All day, Powell testifies and 9, right? URL factory. If I'm doing this, that means that you guys should be doing this too, because that lets you know that you're taking this stuff seriously and you're making sure that you're making notes and sure that everything is on your way. Okay, so we got Governor Bailey speaks from the Bank of, I don't know if it's Governor Bailey or from the Bank of England. I guess Bank of England governor. Is that how the Bank of England does it? I have no idea. 7:50 a.m., which would be 6:50 my time. So I would probably do the same day. Let's add in here. Bailey and what? All right, so the time that he speaks 7:58, about 2 hours before, and you want to pay attention to that. So about 5 o'clock, just be getting to work. I'll be getting to work around 6, so make sure I make note of that. So there's quite a bit going on between GBP and USD. Right, so those will be the two to watch in the morning, on Tuesday morning. Right, and we'll see what's gonna happen between then. And then looks like not too much CAD news. Looks like some more FOMC stuff happening in the evening. So USDs could have some volatility, maybe pretty much all day. Trade balances. Beginning flat PMI between JPY, JPK. Wednesday. Right, looks like we have some Euro stuff. French, German, flash manufacturing stuff early. Not too much though. Some CPI stuff. Later on, 8:30, flash menu. It looks like flat manufacturing. Pretty much out today. Here we go. Fed Chairman Powell testified. So this is going to be another volatility area. 10 o'clock. Yeah, it's a good kind of testify. And 10 a.m., which would be 9 o'clock my time. So let's 8 a.m. because that will probably be around the time that things start moving. All right. Put on inventories between USD. That always affects the CAD. Euro. Okay. FOMC member speaks. The thing about the FOMCs in the evening is that's what's going to affect the indices more than like, because indices like to play, you know, the morning and after game. Notice this or not, but they have the morning and after game. Thursday, let me see here. Swiss. Multi, much CAD. Be present Lagarde speaks. Okay, that might be something to watch out for. 5:30 a.m. Again, Bank of England. FOMC speaks at the same time as BOE. So. Okay, so the EU Economic Summit happening. This is going to be interesting. All right, so Thursday we have. So this is a big week, guys. This is a pretty big week. Don't know if we noticed that or not. This is going to be a pretty big week. So Thursday is EU Economic Summit. It just says day one. It doesn't really give a specific time. Considering the M3 money supply for euros coming out at 5 a.m. Private loans 5 a.m. So this is probably gonna be starting early in the morning, right? So German. We got consumer climate happening at early in the morning, 2 a.m. So I am gonna say this is gonna be an all thing, but we should probably do like an every hour on the hour type thing. Do another one in here. Summit, power mode, summit. Hey, let me see here. Time was at 5 o'clock was when the money supply stuff comes out. 5:30. So 4:30. This is 4:30 my time. Everything's gonna be happening. But a little bit of a break. Then it looks like later on we're probably gonna have some stuff come out. So looks like the London session might be the session to trade on Thursday if you're looking to trade. Otherwise, I would say look to around maybe 5 a.m. ish. And I don't know. This is gonna be I think this is a crazy day. It didn't for some reason. 08. Event for the event, add, okay. And that's pretty much an all-day thing. And that's Thursday, and then Friday, what we got going on Friday? Let's hear Euro Summit still going on. Got some USD core price index, good trades balance, personal income spending. So here are some decent numbers that could affect us as well. For as far as USD is concerned, we'll have to see how the USD is being traded all week. Yeah, Friday. I'm not gonna. I'll do a Friday EU Summit early. Summit retail €2 is all day. But it looks like everything's starting early. A lot of the statements, minutes, business climate, all that stuff's coming around 4 a.m. Right, so alert 30 minutes before, second alert 5 minutes before, add. We're gonna also add on the same day the US stuff at 7:30. Economy and all that stuff's gonna come out around 7:30. So I'm gonna put 6 a.m. Repeat, not repeat here. Alert, that's what I meant. 30 minutes ahead of time. Second alert 5 minutes ahead of time. And add. Okay, so looks like I got everything important for the week ended up in my calendar. All right, that should be enough of that kind of stuff, right? So if you haven't followed my Twitter, here's my Twitter, right? If you haven't followed my mines, right? Here's my mines. This is my mines. Mines is too fancy. Yeah, well, a lot of memes and stuff like that. It's kind of cool. I like mines. But cool thing with mines is that you can earn crypto. You can buy, connect your wallet to it and things like that. So mines is a crypto Facebook. Get on mines. Need more different social medias out there that of just the same old everybody get taught same echo chambers. We don't need that. We need more and more actual mind. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna switch on over to some charts. All right, so first off, let's head off with the SPX. Like I said, we were gonna do now some things about the SPX that I was looking at whenever I was trying to do some just a little bit of well, I got a new thingy. I don't really know how to work it yet. There's a button on here that you gotta press. I didn't know it. I've been like pouring it all over myself, so be careful. Or I gotta be careful, but just hang with me while I be careful. All right, there we go. Now I don't have a wet my whistle. Wet my whistle. Got my wet whistle. Anyways, what I was looking at whenever I was looking at the S&P, a couple things could happen, right? I want the S&P, of course everybody wants the S&P to go up. We did have, you know, that little bit of a drag here for a little bit, and then recently pop back up, and then now we're starting to slide back a little bit down. So what are we looking at now? As far as what I can tell, all right, we have I'm looking at the 4 hour here. So we did have a huge just spike down really quick right before it pulled back right back up. So this is setting up sell side liquidity. This is engineering liquidity, right? So that means if it does end up getting closer and closer and closer to this area, people are going to start buying and buying and buying and buying and buying, thinking that it's going to turn around and go the other way. Not what's going to happen. We do end up going down this what direction? It's going to go past it. It's going to go past this whatever this number is. Hold on, let me see if I can get a number on it. 30, sorry, there it is. Right here, right here. 3888. Right? What is more than likely going to happen, that what I've done once I've looked into it, is I have looked into 15-minute chart, right? There is a big wide open gap, like a huge, okay, so whenever you see a huge, like I said, whenever you see like a rocket ship take off, so that's what you need to worry about. Those, I mean, not really what you need to worry about, but those are the kind of areas you need to look for price to possibly return to, especially if it hasn't returned to it, you know, almost automatically. Yeah, we did have some price action come before it, you know, and push it down. All right, that's good. You know, pulled back up and then push down, and then now we're taking off. All right, so we have a low, a high, and then a high or a low. So what we have here is technically, well, we have two breakers here. To be honest, we have the high breaker and we have the low breaker. So this whole area, right and through here, is the area I would be looking for, right? So what I did is I kind of drew these out in time, and I said these are the areas to watch. So I'm afraid if it does break this area here, we're going to be watching for it to possibly get down to this yellow line I have that I have marked as the middle, right? That's right in between these two, you know, large areas, to where we basically have nothing going on in between that big push up, right? So if it comes down, right, it comes down into this area, who knows, it could just come down into this little green area right here that I have that says 15-minute premium, right? 15-minute premium. It could just come down into that and turn around, snap back up, right? That's what it could do. It may not, though. It could push a little bit further down into here. What I'm afraid of is what's going to happen, that we could start pushing down into this area, right? And then start hanging around in this area, and then eventually, but what's going to happen is going to push down even further into this area, and then finally push back up. That's what I'm afraid is going to happen. That's personally what I'm afraid is going to happen. So 38.75, have your sights set on that, or anything to possibly turn around and go the other way. Now, why do I have a box here? That's a good question. I know you wonder why do I have all these boxes? Okay. So I'll go walk through everything with everybody about where I got all this information from and why this is the way it is. Okay, so what I did is I took a Fibonacci, which I'm very fond of Fibonacci's because they tell you where things are overbought, oversold, you know, in various conditions without having to use any kind of indicators. If you were to use an indicator, these are my indicators here, and I'll talk to you about them later, but that's nothing to worry about right now. So what did it just, of course it would do this, it would just want to freeze on me. Okay, so the reason I had this, you know, going all the way to the very bottom here, I remember I almost called this bottom. I called 3720 instead of 3722. I said it would come up and hit this box and then fall. And I thought it would honestly come back down through here and then go back up, but it didn't actually go back down through here. Instead, there was some gaps through here that it decided it wanted to go through here and then go back up. That's neither here nor there right now. So the reason I have this box drawn through here is because that is of current below the deal. What would actually, I don't even know if you would call this the dealing range. I don't think you would call this a dealing range. I'm just saying it's the current low, right? The current low that we have back from March 4th all the way to the current high, which was March 17th, which is Wednesday, whenever we had the FOMC, you know, meeting and everything kind of went crazy and went up. So between 2 weeks, we have that, right? Now, if it were to fall, and it were to fall into an area that bankers would like to buy, right? Bankers like to buy at discount rates. You like to buy at discount rates, don't you? Don't you like to go to, whenever you go shopping, don't you like to find things that are 20, 30, 40, you know, 50% off, things like that? Well, bankers do the same thing, except for they do it with currencies instead, or indexes instead, stocks, things like that. And instead of 20-30% off, they want to do it with 80 to 62% off. So if it is to 80 to 62% off, it's going to be in this area. Now, what leads me to believe it's not going to get down that far into this area is because I felt like we've had, I don't know, I felt like I've done a lot of searching over in this area, and it seems like a lot of the gaps, any kind of gaps, have been filled. There isn't anything that I see that could possibly make it want to come down this far, except for this right here. I don't know if you can even see. Here, let me pull the styles up, and I'm gonna yell. I just killed 2 pages. Who cares? All right, it doesn't matter. Let's see if this one even comes up. Trading view, you are absolutely killing me. Oh, really? Come on now. Yes, reload. Come on. Not like I have like anything crazy going on in my house. Not like I have like 30 devices. I'm like, I don't even think I have my phone on right. So we were checking out the DXY. Okay. You know what? Maybe I should go back to the DXY. Sorry, I'm all over the place right now. I'll get to the SPX, but the XY and the SPX both are related in some way. So, the question is that are we going to continue being bullish on the DXY? If we're going to continue being bullish on the XY, we are going to continue being bearish on the SPX because currency and equities are inverse. They have an inverse relationship. They have an inverse relationship because of inflation. If they have, if the DXY is going up and also the SPX is going up, that means, of course, they're both working in cohesion. That means we are not going through inflation, or we're not going through any kind of inflationary period. I wouldn't even say we're going through deflationary. That comes with a little bit of different territory. But now the question was before, and you went to the 5 minute, I should have went to the hour. Before the week was over, actually, let me go back. I go back to the day, right? You can see I do have the Fibonacci here. Fibonacci shows that it comes all the way up and comes up and hits the 62%, right? So now we're at premium. We're at premium prices. At premium prices, that means it should want to sell off, right? And it does. It does want to sell off, right? And then it comes back up, and then of course it wants to sell off again. And then now I'm at the point to where we think we should probably sell off. And I really did think we were going to sell off, and we were probably going to see prices lower. There's nothing that's making me think, and this is why I think we're probably in some kind of issue, because that the Fed's printing so much money, nobody's at work. Not that nobody's at work, but we have states shutting down, bars, restaurants, things like that. Our economy's in shambles. I don't understand how our dollar is even somewhat even remotely going up. So this is what is kind of scaring me and making me think something could be setting up for some kind of very, very, very bad volatility, right? So and of course it's getting back up into that premium level. If it's getting back up into that premium level, why are banks paying for premium prices? Just doesn't make sense unless they're wanting to drive it up to drop it again, which is possible, but I just don't see that being the actual case. Look at what happened with the very end of the day. Boom, we had the drop. That to me that was a good sign. Good, hey, we're gonna drop. And now it starts above, and what does it do? It is now getting to the point to where it is closing in on that gap, right? I actually have a trade going on because I was trying to close in on a gap too. Didn't close it close enough. Not a whole lot, 50 cents, whatever. So just because it was closing the gap and it was moving away. I wasn't paying attention to it. Probably could add a couple bucks. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. So because it did come down here, all right, and it did touch here, right? So usually what happens whenever you see this is that you see it touch and then you see it go, it start being more bullish. If it starts out above and it comes down, it closes the gap, right, and then it continues on away from the gap. You usually don't see it come and close a gap and then continue on. Usually not what happens. 99 times out of 100, I've never seen that happen. That it looks like we're going to see more bullishness out of the dollar. I had the breaker set here, right? And whenever I had the breaker set, means we had a low, a high, a lower low. Of course, we had a breaker going all the way across. Once it got above the breaker, of course, it pushed back down, and now we're back in that breaker area. It did go up to the top of the breaker, back down. We'll have to see what happens when it comes back up to this breaker, if it's actually going to, you know, if it closes up this gap, which it looks like it did. If it comes back up to this breaker and then breaks back down, or if it breaks above this breaker and then comes back and then uses this as support, and then I don't really think this would be, this right here would be considered a breaker either, but I would consider this a liquidity factor, or a liquidity factor. But it looks like we do have a gap in play. Let's make this solid and same thing. So you have this gap in play. So even if it does, okay, so if it does get above the breaker, could get into the gap, pull back down, use the breaker as support, and then push up and use this as the liquidity draw. That's what I'm thinking, possibly what could happen. Okay. Well, to be honest, I don't. It just seems impossible to me why that would happen. Just because the dollar is just absolutely pathetic right now. Everything going on with the world. I don't see how the dollar is holding up one iota of a bit of anything. And I know we just gave out a bunch of stimulus checks. The only thing that did was probably make people, put a lot of people into crypto, is what that did. I know that's what that did. If you, maybe not everybody, but people that were, the people that probably had some good brains in their heads, knew what to do with that money and probably put it in what happened, or at least put it in stocks that had to do with crypto. There are a couple of those. Sorry, I'm trying to draw another attempt at liquidity here to be right about the 70.5%. If it would stay there, we go. So now we have this, and we have this. We'll have to see what, I mean, it looks like it's going to be a quiet night overnight, so we I don't really see much happening with what we saw on forexfactory.com. Monday. Let me see. Import prices 6th through 30th. Friday. Alright, we got stuff at 5. $9 a.m. Oh, we got Fed Chair Powell speaking today. I didn't realize that. Sorry, guys. That in my calendar. So on the 22nd of. So we could have some kind of volatility happening, and that shows 9 a.m., which would be Eastern time. I am 8 a.m. Central time. So I am going to 7 a.m. At a time. Arms, hurt, 30 moves, 4. Hurt, 10 minutes of plenty of time to know that Fed chair are about to talk. March 22nd. How? 7. Okay, so we will have to see what happens at 9 o'clock to see what kind of volatility that we're going to have. If anything, what I am thinking that this is probably going to be a fake out. It's probably going to be some kind of, working its way up, especially during Euro hours, working its way up. I know not doing well, then it'll probably turn around and fall back down. And once it gets it back up above this liquidity pool, maybe even above this liquidity pool at 70.9, then it will fall back down. Of course, you could have your foreign currencies. All right, now that we got DXY out of the way, let's take a look at the SPX. And SPX, where did I get what I was getting? I was getting to that before it screwed up and stopped working. I put my fib here, and then I put my fib here up at the top. I don't know what it is. Again. Alright, so if it were to come back and be a full discount from where it is, or where it was from March 4th all the way up until March 17th, be a full discount for any kind of banker to want to buy, it would end up being anywhere in between 37.79 and 38.24. I just don't see it pulling back that far. I really don't. I don't see it pulling back that far, although it's a possibility. It is a possibility. Instead, what I see is something more along the lines of I think. I think it's gonna be more along the lines of, well, maybe, yeah, not that. And the reason this is because, okay, we had this high, right? We had this low. And after this low here is then it finally broke this high, right? Okay, we broke this high, right? Pulled down here. It looks like we came into a kind of gap, right? Broke out of that gap, broke that high, right? Pulled back, another gap, and then broke that high, right? So that probably may not be the best low to use, but actually it's probably not the best low to use at all. If anything, this is probably the best. The reason I say that is because ever since we've had this high and we pulled to this low, we've moved up, really haven't had much of a pullback except for once we got up here kind of toward the top, it just looks like it kind of ran sideways, right? So if anything, I would use this as the low. I would think where we are at now would be probably area to be at the lowest low off of this. Down to, okay. That being said, like I said, if it does pull down further, it does try to get below this sell side liquidity pool, would probably hit this 38.79 before it moves up any further. I just have a good feeling, but if dollar is moving up, which means that the indices would probably be moving the opposite direction. Dollar could be moving up as the indices are moving down. Till the Fed chair, after that, boom, it goes the other way, right? And dollar's gonna explode, dollar's gonna go down. Then we're probably gonna see the indices go up. That's what I think is gonna happen. Till we get up in this area here. I have this area here marked out as being negative breaker. Some kind of negative breaker here. We have negative order block, medium threshold. So if we were to, I think that was a 4-hour chart, if I'm not mistaken, where I did that. So it may have been the daily chart if I'm not. Probably the 4-hour. I think I did from here. Alright, this lowest low, this right here. So it's close enough. So that's what it was. Okay, so we had this as the low, right? This little tail here as the low, this as the high. The middle of that would be right here as the median threshold of all three of these candles going down, right? This would be one order block, right? So if it does push up, and you know, it's probably going to stop here, bounce, right? Probably come back a little bit, push up, hit here, probably bounce, because it's probably wanting to try to get above here because above here is where the liquidity is, right? Everybody has all their sell limits set right through here, right? So that off. So if you were anybody, if you're a retail trader, probably have your sell limits set right through here, right? Just because it's close to the highest high. Once it gets close to the highest high, everybody and their mother wants to sell, just because that's what you're taught as a retail trader. Retail trader, you're taught to sell near, the high, right? This is the highest high. Everybody's going to be trying to sell here, right? It can break through the order blocks. I think it can. And it's going to break through here. Of course, it's probably what's going to happen is more than likely what's going to happen is that might kick me off in just a little bit because I might be going over on time soon. If it does, I'll try to come back on. But what would probably happen is that it would come up, force play a game, pull back, go above it, pull back down, right? Pull close, pull above it, and then eventually take off, right? So it would probably be something like that. It would always play around in these highs to try to get people guessing on which way it's going, right? No, especially if it's on its way up, then more than likely that is the direction is going to be going because it has a bias. It's not going to just turn just because of it has a high, just because there's a high right there. It's not going to just stop and turn and go around just because there's a high. Instead, there's a bias. It'll play with it to make people try to sell, right? As a smart money trader, you want people to try to sell in that area. That way you can turn around and screw them and then buy whenever they're trying to sell and take all their money. That's what I think is going to happen with the SP. And if it gets lower than this, and then it'll turn around. More than likely, and I think it possibly will, right? Because I think the dollar is going to probably start off a little bit bullish, but then I think it's going to turn around and start being bearish. If it does, what's going to happen with it? That being said, let's move on to the Nasdaq. Nasdaq, I had a little bit more pulled up, but I think it's screwed up whenever everything. Nasdaq has soft highs here. Soft highs here mean basically somewhat equal highs, meaning that every time, of course, it gets close to it, it sells. It gets close to it, it sells. Close to it, it sells. So if it keeps doing that too much, people are going to keep selling and selling and selling. Eventually, it's going to break through. So my bets are that this to pull up to, and that it is going to push through that. It's not going to try to pussyfoot around it and try to sell again. It definitely could, depending on how how quick it gets up there. What I've seen lately, especially what I saw with Ethereum today, is that I saw Ethereum get up to right where it was, the same high that where everybody else was, and it kind of just hung there for about a good 30 minutes. After about a good 30 minutes, what did it do? It just shot straight up. It just did, it thought everybody was going to try to sell, and it just waited for all the sell orders to come in, and smart money people came in and then just took over. Here, I can probably show it to you right now, where I'm talking about. Early, it was this morning. night, last night. Yeah, it was here. It is right here. As you can see, here is that area where everybody thought, you know, it was probably just gonna turn around and sell, as it had been doing. Here, it just kind of hangs out and chills a little bit, and then boom, right up through it. Then unfortunately, it did turn around and go back down, but still, you know, those are the kind of things you have to watch out for when it comes to that. So, same thing could happen to NAS. It could come up to it, hang out for a little bit, boom, shoot straight up through it, and then maybe even make an equal high with this guy right here, and then do the same thing all over again. Right, come up to it, count with it, go a couple times, and then boom, go back up above it again. You just keep doing that. Do I see it falling back any further? No, I really don't. After looking at NAS, it does have a little bit of a gap between here and here, but not too bad of a gap. Not as much as a gap as it could fall back into that, like I said, as the dollar could move upwards, right? As the dollar does move upwards, could start pulling indices the opposite direction, right? Because indices are almost always the opposite direction of currency, just the way it's always been. That didn't work out too well. Because it looks like it's already kind of hit this one. Here, yeah, actually, let me pull this up. No, it doesn't touch this one at all. Actually, I'm on the 3 hour. Why am I on the 3 hour? That doesn't make 4 hour here. So it looks like 4 hour, it does actually come in with institutional order flow. It does look like it comes into and hits the middle of, yep, almost hits the middle of that gap. So, that being said, Nasdaq looks like it could be on a run. Looks like the 4 hour gap has already been taken out and gone through. I'm going to consider that one even though it remembers them, it's already been ran through a couple times. I don't think it's going to remember those ones. It's going to be looking more for these guys here. This is what I would be looking for when it Nasdaq tomorrow morning. think Nasdaq will kind of chill. It's chill night for almost everything. On to Sunday night. Could be coming up. Slowly making its way up. Once it does enter into the area, that's where I would be at. If it any kind of 1 3 5 and I always look at half. I always like to look at half because generally you get the biggest moves off of was, but it could just seriously barely enter this right here and then turn around and go back the other way. Alright, so we already have a little bit of a fair value gap right here. We're gonna have to see how that gets treated. We have quite a bit going on here with the Nasdaq, but like I said, that having soft highs, with it having soft highs being that I think it wants to get above those soft highs, because it keeps treating it as if it wants to keep pushing it down and pushing it down and pushing it down, and eventually our tech sector is the biggest sector and we got to get it going, but it just depends on how quickly we're going to be able to get this done. You know what I'm saying? I actually used to believe channels, of course I work, because look, there actually used to be a channel at one point, but we'll just have to see how this plays out. And then look at Dow. Dow, surprisingly, even though it dropped at the, well, I guess is it day, huh? Here at the Dow. Dow still has some room to drop. See, when it comes to top 30 companies, the only thing about making the top 30 companies that we're gonna stay the top 30 company. Now we're basically, we've made the biggest wealth equality situation ever, where we're making people stay home, buy from the same places, can't go out. I mean, can't go get your hair cut, you can't go do this, you can't go do that, but yet you can all go to Walmart, you can all go to Target, you can all buy from Amazon, but you can't buy from mom and pop shops. You can't. It doesn't make any sense. Literally, we have the hugest transfer of wealth that's been happening in the last year, and with the Dow Jones being the top 30 companies, priced super goes. If I hope, to be honest, I hope the Dow fails. If any of them's gonna fail, what did Dow do here? Why did it stop here? Looks like maybe there was a action block here. pushes through it, but it gets back down to it, hits it, comes back up. That could be coming back up as well. Could be a liquidity draw down here. I really don't see much of a liquidity draw though. I mean, there is a liquidity draw, but I don't see it having that big of an effect on it. It could. If it does get through this, does push through this as a liquidity draw, it's also going to push through this. Maybe. Because the reason it even stopped here is because of what looks like a shorter block. Right. I'm thinking is happening here is that this is a block. And if it does push down through here, I see it hitting this up. And I am a fan of Fibonacci's, and it could honestly be also wanting to try to create a cross through. That looks like that would probably be somewhere around 60 level to 25%. 5, yeah. Look at this as 4 hour. Does look down just a little bit. Could actually just push down into this area here, around 32.4. And then finally see a turn. That wouldn't probably happen. I say this. I think if anything, this probably comes up above here. Up above here, pulls back. It's in this area, then we. That's my personal opinion of Dow. Bitcoin. Geez, I way too much on Bitcoin. I study it way. Probably the healing range a little bit. Hasn't moved, really, has it? Pushes down, it goes back into the same area. Am I still in this? No, I'm not. I'm not in this trade anymore. I was in this trade because I had an entry right here, and I put my stop loss at my entry. I took most profit. Up, what does it hit? You consider that a very short during its very solid one. I think Bitcoin just confused. I think there's a lot of manipulation in Bitcoin right now. does come down. Make no sense for it to come down to this far. Unless it just completely covers up. Well, I mean, it does cover up the fair value gap. Okay, so it covers up the 1 hour fair value gap. Probably at the same time when it does, it probably hits 0.5% retracement. For new. Yep, 0.55% retrace. Bullish. I see, yeah, I just see more bullishness out of it. It's just gonna go sideways most of the time. It's gonna stay bullish. It hit a very shorter block. Hour. Let me get. There we go. Quarter block there. Cross. That. Fair shorter blocks and backward. Probably have a little bit of a gap here. That far back. All back to here and then onward. That's my take on the area. On up. The only thing here is this area here up top. You have two breakers happening. Breaker here and then full hour breaker. You have the 15. Trades through the breaker, turns around, then it access. But if it doesn't trade through the breaker, but with it being equal highs or soft highs through most of here, I have a feeling it's going to trade through then eventually as it just seems like there's a lot of accumulate on through here. Again, has been, well, this is not really a whole lot. Since I even get this, and then of course Ethereum. Ethereum has been a little bit interesting. Not fit good for quite some time now. It's but now it's doing the same thing Bitcoin did. Not really. For a sec. Fake drawings, some fake lines are drawn. Of course, it's actually any kind of what I'm looking for. I don't even know what the word I'm looking for, because I don't even use them. They called things Trend lines. There you go. Trend lines. That's the word. I don't even know the word for it. If it was actually a trend line, of course, you can tell this is not a real trend line because it's all over the. There's no real trend here. If anybody's trying to, I mean, yeah, I guess you probably could go to like a 4-hour chart and try to justify it somehow doing this. Remove fake trend line. Go. Two of the most bottom touching, right? So here we got a bottom touching line. Here we got a bottom touch. Now hit the channel with parallel, and it. I mean, come on, look at this. It's not what that is. I guess you could say it touches the top of, you know, if you wanted to make this a parallel channel here. All right, making fun of all you guys that love your little channels and trend lines and all this. Just telling you how much bull crap they are. There we go. Made a parallel trend channel to the one spot that would actually touch it. Everything else that touches it goes right through it. So here we have this part that touches here, this part that touches here. There you go. There's your trend line. That's about your only trend line that you got. I mean, you have other trend lines, but all get broken or moved over. It doesn't even. I'm gonna use another parallel trend line to go on top of it. Make a channel. That is your channel right there. It's not a channel at all. There goes your channel theory, guys. Sorry. What is happening is that Ethereum is just going sideways. That's all there is to it. It's just going sideways. Could have to do news with the IP project. What kind of projects are coming out of Cardano? There's just no telling. Just like everybody, you know, once everything started exploding, everybody thought like a Bitcoin and Ethereum were just gonna blow the out of the water and put at $60,000, and especially Ethereum. No time we'd have Bitcoin. Not how the world works. Things take time. Things take time to operate. Things take time to develop. Take our high up here at over 2,000. We're gonna have to see what's gonna happen with Ethereum. We do have a lot of kind of equal lowishes. That's the only thing that scares me about the whole Ethereum thing, that we could be trying to eventually probably try to pull back and probably break liquidity, right? We got a liquidity pool here. Break this liquidity pool. We could probably try to break another one before we move forward. Really don't have much on highs. Art did move. Have this move gap, right? And as soon as it moves gap, immediate rejection. Not really sure if there's any more gaps happening. Watching out for that. Which means if price does move up into this area, it could reject. Or it could try to fill the entire gap. One of those things that we are just happen. There's just right now it's a guessing game. Everything is sideways. There's no real direction on anything, on indices, on the dollar, foreign currency, crypto. I think even ADA pulled back. Didn't hit my stop loss yet, thank God. Yes, ADA did get almost to its all-time high. It did pull back. My favorite Raven coin, it is moving up. Loving it. Loving my Raven coin. That's a good thing. Look at GBP USD. I'm just going through and everything now. USD looks like it started off low, came up, closed up the gap. It looks like it actually, well, looks like it closed up the gap, but pulled back a little bit, but it could be moving up. So DXY, even though it did come down and close the gap, it looks like it started off higher. Like it could be moving lower. No, it is midnight. I have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm sorry, guys. I have to get off of here and go to bed. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, to remember to man, why didn't somebody tell me that I didn't have any tunes playing for a while? Did I is my playlist not that long? You should have told me, you guys. You could have been jamming the whole time. Nobody told me. All right. Anyways, thanks a lot, and always remember to limit each other to this so you can see the calendar one more time before we go to bed. Right? Take off before you wait in this video in the morning. That way you get going on with it. Bed chair. Wow. 9 o'clock in the morning, good time. Right, guys, night. Love y'all, and don't forget to wear your pants.